2, 1.
Hello, good Tuesday morning, everyone, and welcome to KSAT News Now.
Yes, we're streaming on KSAT Plus and, of course, KSAT.com. And we also have our weekday podcast. So thanks for spending part of your Tuesday morning with us. How are you doing this morning, Alicia?
Doing well. Coffee has kicked in, woke up early, so we're alive, alert, enthusiastic.
There we go. Alive, alert, enthusiastic. So yeah, some very important things there. I was just on the phone with someone. They're asking, they're like, have you fully recovered from Fiesta yet? And
Negative.
I feel like it's going to take a few days for that to happen. But
a friend yesterday told me Fiesta blues. He's feeling the Fiesta blues, and I could agree. But just because Fiesta stopped doesn't mean we have to stop having fun. You know?
Right.
We can find our fun in other ways.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And of course, speaking about that, this weekend is going to be a lot of fun with Easter coming up and a lot of families getting together. And some other stories we're going to be going over here. There could be more supply issues at grocery stores because of a situation at the Texas border, and a school district going, the interesting move here, decides to go to a 4-day school week. We'll explain why.
I'm also interested to see, of course, the students are probably really excited, teachers as well, because you get more work done, but it's the parents that are like, what do I do for that one day?
Yeah.
But oops, she did it again.
Okay.
The Queen of Pop makes an announcement on Instagram that's leading to confusion for many. And another San Antonio tradition returning this weekend. He alluded to it.
Yeah.
That's Easter. But first, we're going to start in New York City.
That's right, Alicia, where multiple people were shot this morning at a Brooklyn subway station, and this happened earlier today, and more than a dozen have been taken to area hospitals this morning.
So I have one friend in New York, so right away reached out to her. Haven't heard back, but hoping that people are okay over there. So a manhunt is on for the suspect. That person was described to be wearing an orange construction vest and gas mask. It's expected that that suspect is a man, and it happened just before 8:30 this morning at the 36th Street subway station northbound in Brooklyn.
And according to a local New York TV station there, ABC7, as the doors closed, the suspect threw smoke bombs and started shooting. Now, police say, this is the latest information from CNN, police are saying that there are at least 16 injured now, and that includes 8 people that were shot. New York police confirmed that no active explosive devices are at the scene, and FBI is also assisting with police there, as well as the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms, and Explosives.
So police are, of course, asking people to stay away from that area as they carry on with this investigation. But investigators do need help. They're encouraging witnesses to call authorities if they have any information. And this is just terrifying.
Absolutely. And if you're following this on social media, a lot of people have now been sharing videos of this. It is just frightening. People are running out of the subway cars. And again, one of these things just absolutely, I mean, early in the morning, people going to work or school or just, getting to where they need to be. And this type of thing happens and is very sad. And hopefully, police there can kind of figure out who's behind this. And apparently this train was making multiple stops at 59th Street stop prior to the 36th Street station stop. And that's where police discovered that many people had been shot.
And what's scary about this, by the way, New York Police Department, they are expected to hold a press conference at the scene any minute now. Just during your morning commute, have you ever been to New York or taken the subway while there?
So I've been in New York, never taken the subway, yeah.
Well, usually, I mean, you have people just with their headphones, add masks now with COVID, if that's what people prefer. But you're kind of in your own zone. You're not really paying attention to your surroundings. So if you hear some type of commotion, I mean, you look over, but can you just imagine that happening and seeing people probably run for safety after these shots rang out? So again, this is very new, still a lot of details coming in. And at first it was said that the fire department in New York had found some devices. New York PD later confirmed that no active devices were found on scene. So again, just a lot of the confusion playing into that investigation there, but we'll keep you updated again here on KSAT across all our platforms. But switching gears, here at home, we've already seen supply and inflation issues at many grocery stores, and this morning those concerns are heightened because of produce coming into Texas from Mexico. Why? Well, commercial traffic there's a lot of commercial traffic at a major South Texas border crossing.
Yeah, that's actually been stopped. Mexican truckers blocked the north and southbound lanes on the Mexico side of the Far Reynosa International Bridge on Monday to protest Governor Greg Abbott's decision to have state troopers inspect northbound commercial vehicles.
So that inspection is usually done by federal government, but Abbott has ordered Texas DPS to increase inspections of commercial vehicles in response to President Biden's recent announcement that his administration plans to end Title 42. And again, if we remember about Title 42, that was put in place during COVID, during start of COVID, to help stop the spread here in the U.S. But again, we've mentioned it, there's already COVID across the nation.
Right, and this is a story that, you've been following for some time now. So the bridge connecting Far and Reynosa is the busiest trade crossing and handles the majority of produce that crosses into the U.S. from Mexico. That includes avocados, broccoli, peppers, strawberries, and tomatoes. So a lot of very common items you would find.
Some produce importers in Texas said they have waited days for their goods to arrive and already had buyers cancel orders. And yeah, this is again, we talk about being one of the biggest ports. This is daily, right? There's a produce row market in McAllen, so not far from there. And to know that their business is being affected because of these protests. The other thing that I'm wondering, are these Texas DPS troopers trained for this? Because at a federal level, they are. This is their daily job. So a lot of confusion here to see if the federal agents are on board. Obviously, they have to coordinate to some degree. So how is that going to happen?
So that's been some of the concern there, because apparently it is taking some state troopers there as long as 45 minutes to an hour to inspect one vehicle. And if you've ever crossed over commercially, I mean, it does not take that long. And like you said, there's usually already a formula that the federal officials have in place to get this traffic moving along the border. So that's been a big point of contention there, is just the amount of time. And this is apparently going on along the Texas border as well. Other bridges, obviously the Far Reynosa Bridge being the main one, but other bridges are also having some of these blockades right now.
Absolutely, and it's just interesting to see, especially how city officials will react, because there are close partnerships between the local cities along that Texas-Mexico border, Mission, FAR, and their Mexico entities. So again, this is another one that's going to affect, and it'll eventually trickle down to us in our pockets.
Exactly, as we talked about some of those supply inflation issues. All right, Alicia, moving on here. So how would you feel about a 4-day school week?
Or work week in my case.
What would you think about that if you had that option?
Aren't there studies that it's proven for not only students but adults to be more productive? There are other parts of the world where they already have a 4-day work week. I'm all for it, but again, I'm not a parent.
4-10-hour days, right? That's usually
it's kind of like
what
college.
They do.
Like you have a full schedule, and you usually had Fridays, or I think the bulk of my classes were like Tuesday,
Monday
Thursday,
through Thursday and stuff, and then Fridays was your easy day. Well, this might actually be the case here for a Texas school district, and this is north of Beaumont, because they have announced plans to reduce student school weeks from that traditional 5 days a week to 4 days next school year.
The Jasper Independent School District made the decision because of a teacher shortage, which not just them. I mean, this is something that we're seeing across all school districts. But this district said it conducted surveys with parents, teachers, and staffers before the change was voted on by their board of trustees.
The change to a 4-day school week was motivated by burnout among current teachers and difficulty recruiting new teachers.
The school district also plans to give teachers and school staff members a financial incentives if they stay in their positions. Teachers would get a $3,000 stipend, while staff members, such as librarians, would receive $1,500 if they decide to stay with the district. So good. I mean, it's a good incentive. How far can that money go for a school year? Well, you know, that's on a case by case.
And and their district officials have been saying that they are using some government funds to help with some of that shortage there. They had also reported earlier that they had openings for their science teachers, regular science teachers, for over 2 years. So they've been having people sort of fill in the gaps here and there and try and find like any sort of substitutes that are willing to help out in any way. But this is an interesting move. And again, Jasper, much smaller district. I don't anticipate that would happen at some of the major districts, but you never know. It's an interesting model to kind of look at.
So, that survey with parents, staffers, and teachers, I would like to know just the majority of parents. Obviously, if it was voted on, probably the majority is on board, but I'm sure there's some parents who are worried about what they're going to do for that extra day, whether that's getting a babysitter, caretaker, taking off from work. Are their jobs still allowing that hybrid mode? So,
Yeah, and so we will see how this works out as this goes into effect. Well, as someone who does not have any kids, sure, let the kids have 4 days a week.
I feel like they'd be more productive.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean,
I'm curious how the curriculum would work as well. So,
you know what people are also worried about?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people talking about this here.
Do you know this song? Usually I ask you to sing a song.
Baby.
Okay, you're
of course I know
more in
that
tune
song.
than I was. Okay. Well, the Queen of Pop, she's announced she's having a baby, and she did it in typical Britney fashion on a very long-winded post on her verified Instagram account Monday afternoon. Have you read any of her posts?
So I don't follow her on Instagram, but I know that some of them are a little odd at times. So she and her partner Sam Asghari, is that the way you pronounce his last name? Asghari, okay, are expecting their first child together. So the singer said she had lost weight for her recent vacation. I believe this is in Maui, and she noticed that she gained it back.
Yeah, her partner teased her, saying she was food pregnant, but a pregnancy test later confirmed the Queen of Pop is having a baby.
Yeah, this was confusing because she had said something about whether she was like food pregnant, right? And so people were just wait,
how are you confused?
A food baby. That's what it was, right? Yeah, like I guess just ate too much, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then people were very confused as to whether she was being genuine in this decision or not.
Yeah, I don't think
you weren't confused?
I wasn't confused. She said, I am pregnant.
Well, this is Britney Spears' third pregnancy. Last year during court testimonies, Britney testified that her conservators prohibited her from getting off of birth control. So another ramification of that.
Another thing with that is that on that post and even earlier posts during these last few weeks, she's referred, so she got engaged back in September, but now she's putting husband. So did the Queen of Pop get married?
You know what? She's just throwing everyone off here. Just confusing a lot of people, including myself. Food baby? What is that?
I mean, she's happy.
That is
she's
good.
Pregnant, she's happy, she's married, or at least engaged.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Good for Britney. And also good for families here in San Antonio that have been missing out on this.
You threw me off. I was like, what? How are they affected by Britney?
By this Britney news? No, not affected by the Britney news, but they would be affected by this because it is almost Easter and families here in our area are gearing up to continue an Easter tradition, and we're talking about overnight Easter camping here at the local parks.
They say happy Easters.
Oh my God.
You know that, right?
No, I've never heard that either.
Oh
Food
my gosh,
babies,
please.
happy Easters. What is going on here?
Yeah, what? You are out of the loop, dude. All right, Parks and Rec Department officials on Monday announced that the typical park curfew will be lifted at 9 city parks for the Easter holiday. So camping was not allowed was allowed last year, but not overnight. So that's the big difference there. We have the full list on KSAT.com. St. PJ's Children's Home is also excited about celebrating Easter, but they are in need of Easter baskets for the children they serve. So they're requesting gender neutral baskets for all ages.
Yeah, and they need them by this Thursday at noon, so you could drop off your donation at 919 Mission Road between 8:30 in the morning and 5 p.m. So we now have gotten past Fiesta, which was great, and now we have another tradition coming up. So things are kind of coming back full force for spring in San Antonio.
So for Fiesta, we're like no rain, being very selfish. And then the moment it ends, rain is back, which I'm happy.
Yes, and we have a chance for isolated showers and storms today, guys, so I have to just put that word out there, isolated, because not everybody's going to get rain today. But the kicker is, if a storm develops, it will become severe.
Okay.
So we've got to be on alert, especially in rush hour, and it has been very dry. So we've got a lot to cover, including the fact that now we're under stage 2 water restrictions when it comes to the aquifer level. So we've got a lot to chat about. Let's go ahead and take a look at the aquifer right now. The aquifer is down 1/10 of a foot over the past 24 hours, but the big thing thing is that SAWS has initiated stage 2 water restrictions. So what does that mean? Well, we can go ahead and take a look at what stage 2 water restrictions mean. It means that you can water once a week according to the end of your address with an irrigation or sprinkler system once a week from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. or 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Handheld watering allowed any time of the day, any week, but if you have a sprinkler system or an irrigation system, only once a week. Right now outside at the airport, it's pretty dreary and drab, right? It's mostly cloudy, 77 degrees, and the humidity is very, very high outside. Humidity going to be one of those ingredients to produce an isolated storm or two. And as we're looking at the visible satellite picture, you can see that those clouds are starting to clear out of here and a dry line is approaching from the west. Now it is very humid. Dew points, these are summertime dew points. Dew points are near 70 degrees, but you look out to the west, look near Dryden, and you can see that there's a dry line. Now storms will often develop along the dry line, but they're pretty finicky. And so as we head into the afternoon and this dry line approaches, those storm development, it's going to be random. And that's why we have a chance for isolated storms this afternoon. Let me take you through the futurecast and I'll show you what we mean as far as isolated storms. Now this one particular forecast model shows development along that dry line out to the west of San Antonio as early as 3 p.m. Now I don't want you to pay attention exactly to where this storm is because it could be further north up into the hill country or it could even be further south toward Hondo. Either way, that storm will be moving west and strengthening. And so again, right around the time of rush hour, we'll have to watch out for an isolated storm that could produce some hail. Again, even though this one forecast model is showing the storm working its way right through the northern half of Bexar County, this particular storm could be up in the hill country or further on down south. Either way, and on top of that, it could not develop too. So either way, we're going to have to be watching the radar very carefully this afternoon between 3 p.m. and into the evening to 8 p.m. As that storms move off to the east, that'll be it for our rain chances. But the timing of this is very important because we could have a couple of severe storms right around the time of rush hour. So we're going to keep you updated. If you are heading out this afternoon, keep that KSAT Weather Authority app handy because we can go live right to your phone on that KSAT Weather Authority app. We'll be seeing skies, storm chances ending by, again, about 8 p.m. tonight, but there is the possibility here for one or two of these storms to become severe, a scattered severe chance around San Antonio and even up toward Austin, but the better chance for numerous severe storms is along that I-35 corridor from Austin all the way up to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But we still have a chance if a storm develops, it will become severe. And the biggest threat that we'd be looking out for is very large hail. So we're talking hail greater than 2 inches in diameter, greater than golf ball size, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's when we need to be alert. The chance for storms is not great. It's only 30%. But if a storm blows, it will become severe. So looking at your KSAT 12-hour forecast, from here on out, we're going to be monitoring from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. for severe weather possible. But again, the chance is only 30%. Otherwise, it's just going to be hot. We're going to be looking at temperatures close to 90 degrees by 4 or 5 p.m., right around the time of the evening commute. And then looking ahead to the later afternoon and early evening hours, our storm chance is done by 7, and it'll be a quiet evening and a mild evening with temperatures in the 70s. So it'll be quiet after about 7, 8 p.m. But then tomorrow, also a day we need to be weather aware, not for storms, but for fire and fire danger. So tomorrow, Wednesday, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., we are in a fire weather watch, and that fire weather watch is because winds will be be windy, gusting up to 30 miles per hour, and it is going to be dry. We've already seen massive grass fires both in Medina County and at Camp Bullis because of the dry and windy conditions. So again, Wednesday, a day we need to be weather aware, not for storms, but for the possibility for some grass fire danger. And it's even going to be more intense out to the west toward the Rio Grande. Looking ahead though, in the 7-day forecast, I want to highlight again, today we'll be on alert for an isolated severe storm. Wednesday we'll be on alert for fire danger. It's going to be hot Wednesday too, with a high in the mid 90s. Thursday, Friday, a little bit more mild, but still on the warm side. And we were talking about camping on Easter weekend. There is an off chance for an isolated storm, but guys, that's still a little far away in the future, the weekend forecast for us, but we are going to keep an eye on that isolated chance for thunder showers over Easter weekend.
There's a lot going on.
For Sunday?
For Easter Sunday, I'll be here.
You work.
I'll be working. Post work. If the weather is good, I'll probably go out to a brunch or something like that, an Easter brunch. So hey, do you guys have any weather questions for me or anything like that?
Well, the big one is I constantly update the app to be aware of what's going on.
The KSAT Weather Authority app. Yeah. And again, rush hour is about the time, if we do have a severe storm, that would be the time. And so a lot of people are going to be out and about. So if you have that Weather Authority app handy, you'll be able to get a weather update right to your phone. Yeah,
you guys certainly have a lot going on during the spring. And again, as we said, the weather seemed pretty ideal last week for Fiesta. But now it seems like there's a lot of stuff that people need to be aware about. So
and we do
need
need
to go ahead
some
and get
rain.
that out.
So
Yes,
we do need
always.
some rain.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So I wanted to go back to the New York story. That's just terrifying. I was reading some of the updates from AP News, and they're having their press conference. They, as a New York PD, they just again describing what happened. That people running out of this was rush hour. Can you imagine? Smoke and blood. That's all they could describe there. Others running, screaming, shouting, "Someone call 911." So we'll have those updates. Still a lot, and the big thing there is that that manhunt is still active. They don't know who that shooter is. The last description was a male, possibly wearing an orange construction vest and a gas mask.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that you do have a friend who lives in New York City, and I know a lot of people obviously have friends and family that may have been there either on vacation or also living there. So Facebook has activated the safety check following this subway shooting. So it's a crisis response page for users to mark themselves as safe following an incident like this. So hopefully more people, as they kind of clear themselves of the situation, will, will check in and make sure that they are safe with their loved ones and family.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for tuning in to Tuesday's edition of KSAT News Now. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Have a good day.